Borders out here. It has been a while, hasn't it? These things happen. Hopefully now I'll be getting more back into doing regular videos, although the way things go I'll never guarantee it. However, what I thought about doing is a trilogy of videos in a way to sort of show off my favourites in my collection, and also just generally to have a look through the collection and show off to you guys there in the Transformers community. So what I'm going to start off with, because this line of figures is the sort of bulk of my collection, I'm going to look at the Generations line. Now, to keep things simplistic and easier for me, what I'm going to do there is, in terms of Generations, the cut-off point for Generations to me is up to the Thrilling 30 line. So the Prime Wars trilogy, while I'll do videos on that, I'm going to class that as a separate entity, just for more or less this purpose. I know it's still technically classed as the Generations line, but it is done under a sort of sub-line of the Generations line, much like the Thrilling 30 and everything else was, but you know what I mean. So I thought for my very first video, I'm going to look at my top 10 Deluxe Autobot figures. So here we go. Deluxe Scoop. Now, this figure is, in this countdown, more so the fact that I got him as a gift. When the TFYTC was doing the Secret Santa, it was Dave Shotton who got this figure for me. And while I remember the character from the G1 days, I really don't have much love for the character, but purely for sentimental reasons, that's why this guy is in the top 10 list. And it is a really good figure, simple transformation, you know, cool target masters as well. Certainly worth a pick up. Reveal the Shield Jazz. Now, when I first got this figure, I got him along with Trax. I really wasn't impressed at all. I don't know what it was, just something about the figure just really didn't appeal to me. But it's a figure that has grown on me. It has a really nice alt mode, and to be honest, the other two Jazzes in the Generation sort of subline, including, you know, the horrible Fall of Cybertron Jazz and the Power of the Primes version, well, it isn't too bad. It doesn't really stack up against this. This is still a sort of standard bearer in deluxe size for Jazz figures, and at least officially, the closest we've got to a sort of masterpiece style version of Jazz. Generations Drift. Now, I know nothing of this character. I do not know his backstory. The only thing I know about him is he is one of Dorian's favourite characters, or at least favourite figures. That's about it. But what I can tell you is this figure is absolutely fantastic. Built really well when, you know, decent amount of plastic was being used back in the day for the Generations line. But the figure with the swords and just the alt mode as well is brilliant. Definitely worth a pick up. I don't know if he's going for quite a bit these days or not, but he certainly is worth a purchase. Generations Trailbreaker. Now, I got so excited when I seen this guy being revealed back in the day. I simply had to have him. This is the first Trailbreaker and my only Trailbreaker I actually have in my collection. It's a figure and a character that I really like purely because he was on one of the very small selection of VHS tapes I had back when I was a wee one. I got him with the rest of Wave 1 back in Toys R Us, rest in peace. And he's my second favourite in that wave, and I'm really hoping that we can get an official masterpiece of this guy. The alt mode, it's quite good. He is very small as that sort of line became, but excellent, worth a purchase. Henky Hound. Now, a lot of people, you'll hear them speaking about this in the forums, Twitter, Facebook and groups and so forth, is that Takara always does put out the best versions of Hasbro's variants, and to be honest, when you pick up something like this, I can see why. The Henky version versus Generation version just has a better aesthetic, has extra detail on it with stickers and things like that. And apart from a slightly fiddly transformation when it comes to his back end, he is really good. Classics Mirage. Now, this figure took me a really long time to get, considering he was one of the original figures released back in the day when the line was simply classed as Classics. He was quite expensive to pick up as well when I got back into the collecting game. And this is the official version. It's not the KO that's been doing the rounds for years. This is the real deal. And while I do have the Mastermind Creations Ocular Max Mirage, this one still holds a special place in my collection. Thrilling 30 RC. How long did we have to wait till we actually got a decent Generation 1 based RC figure? 30 years? Maybe a bit less. But my god, they have knocked out the park with this figure. Unless they do a masterpiece that can sort of surpass this, I really can't see that happening, at least officially. I know there's lots of third-party figures, but this is a figure, if you collect anything to do with the Generations line, should be in your collection. Absolutely worth picking up, be it the Hasbro or the Takara version. They are pretty similar. I would certainly just pick up whichever one, it doesn't matter, get this one for your collection. Poor Generations Wheeljack. He has since been forgotten since the excellent Masterpiece version has came out, but this guy is worthy to be in your collection. While he is a remold, slight retool of the Reveal the Shield tracks, he's still great, still worth having. The alt mode has been slightly tweaked and it looks a lot better than Trax's version. Generations Warpath. Now this guy is brilliant, excellently built, proper plastic quality being used here again. That was back in the good old days, but the transformation's clever, intuitive, and he has just the best alt mode. He is not the right scale, I guess. He's supposed to be like a Legends figure, but don't let that put you off. Pick him up for your collection. And lastly, Orion packs. Now, we do have that Power of the Prime Orion packs, which is more cartoon accurate, but I'm guessing this guy is more to do with the comics again. I am reading the Ultimate Generation 1 comic thing from Hatchet Paperworks, and I'm sure I'll probably come across this guy along with Drift and a couple others that I don't really know but may have figures of. But as a toy, as a figure, he was definitely the strongest in the initial wave 1 of the Thrilling 30 line that I picked up in Toys R Us, rest in peace, along with Trax, Megatron and that Bumblebee. I can't recommend him enough. Robot mode is spot on, alt mode is spot on, it's a nice pickup truck. You wouldn't think it by looking at this figure that it turns into that, you think it turned into another sort of Optimus Prime cab truck vehicle, but everything about it is awesome. I can't recommend this figure enough. Do get him for your collection. Right, so that was my first video in the series of these top countdown videos. It may not always be a top 10, it just depends how I feel. But let me know, do any of you have these figures in your collection? Or are these figures you would like to get? Please, if you can, pop me a little comment, a like, or even a subscribe. I would appreciate that. It helps me out. I've finally passed that 150 mark. Finally. That took an absolute age to get away from there. So thank you very much to my new subscribers, and I hope that you continue to watch my content. And until next time, have a great day and be excellent to each other.